Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Trendz Travel. As usual, I'm your host Eloise Scoble, and today we find ourselves in Lanseria Country Estate, where a little bit later Nadia will be showing us all the fun and exciting things to do around here. As promised earlier, let's take a look at what Lanseria Country Estate and Maruping has to offer.
The Cradle of Humankind is a heritage site that is so rich with history and very interesting findings. We went to Lanseria Country Estate for a quiet afternoon away from the city. There's lots of outdoor activities that one can get up to in this area, like adrenaline-pumping river rafting. However, I wanted to give fly fishing a try. So, what does it take to master the sport?
It really takes an understanding of, for instance, the sport, first of all. So fly fishing has been partially developed from normal fishing. So at the end of the day, you want to try and be able to catch a fish, but where it's been adapted is you don't use bait, you actually use artificial materials which are actually tied on a hook, and that is then made to imitate what the fish would normally be eating. The second part that's quite important is that it's very much a lifestyle experience. So it's about being out at beautiful places like here in the Cradle. It's about enjoying also the birding, the sunshine. Often in winter, even in the sunshine, it's a bit cold. But it's about getting outdoors and really enjoying what nature's got to do. And to be able to fly fish, there's some basic techniques. Because you don't just have a rod where you flick the line out, you actually have a fly line, which there's a couple of different processes that you use to cast the line and the fly out, and then bring it back in, and hopefully a fish will then take the fly. And then probably one of the most important things is that it's very eco-friendly. So majority of the fishing that we do, it means that you end up releasing the fish so they continue to swim for another day.
The line from your left hand into your finger again, into this right finger, at the back. Put a bit more acceleration. Okay, a bit more at the back, a bit more speed.
Why is it tangling?
Because
Well, I think fly fishing is more of a patience test than it is relaxation. But as they say, different strokes for different folks.
Most people in Johannesburg don't know that they're living just outside one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So today I brought some friends to share with you a little bit about this important site that we know as the Cradle of Humankind. The story starts with this one. This is the very famous Taung Child. And the Taung Child was discovered in 1924, and when it was shared with the academic community as being something more closely related to us than to, say, apes or monkeys, it was very roundly thrown out.
Over the past few decades, we've seen more excavations that gave more in-depth knowledge.
We also have one of these exciting finds that has come up in recent years, and this is a reconstruction of Homo naledi. Now, Homo naledi, have you heard of Homo naledi before? Okay, I'm glad you're with me on that one. So Homo naledi comes from a site called Rising Star, which is actually only 1.5 kilometers from Sterkfontein Caves. So a lot of these sites are rather close to one another. It's just across the road from another famous site, Swartkrans. And deep within that cave, we found more than 15 individuals in one single chamber, far away from daylight. So we have a mystery as to how these small brain hominins made it into that area that we're still trying to sort out scientifically. We also found it wasn't a fluke because there's a second chamber within Rising Star that also has more specimens of the same species, which are very well preserved and most surprisingly lived fairly recently. They would have lived at the same time that our own species, Homo sapiens, was on this planet.
We've got so much more for you coming up after the break. I
went back to Lanseria to try out something new. beer tasting.
We're at the place to be. This is our in-house restaurant at Lanseria Country Estate. What we're going to do today is show you one of our unique features that we have here in the restaurant, which is our tasting trays. Our tasting trays we have available in gin, wine and beer, so there's something for everybody. We want to take you through the beer tasting tray first today. Yeah, I think this is very popular. It's a craft beer tray. It comes from a brewery in Kaya Sands called Agars. They're well acclaimed and their beers are really top notch as far as craft beers go. All right, so we've got our tray here, which consists of 8 craft beers. Okay, we're going to start here with the wild berry ale and work our way around the tray. It's important to keep in order because as we go, the flavor builds up. And if you have the wrong beer first, then you don't get the full taste of the next one.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with each beer, we've got a pairing. A lot of hard work went into this pairing exercise. Many afternoons sitting, slaving over many ingredients and many beers to come to the formula that we've come up now. So basically each beer is paired with something from pickles, chocolate, blue cheese. We've got some nuts. We've got some cheesy pork grillers. We've got some butter chicken curry, and then we've got different flavors of chocolate as well. So our patrons come here, some of them have a lot of fun, they mix up the different pairings and they try and make something different for themselves. So it's all about the experience and really the beer is top notch. So once you've shared the tray, you can choose your favorite beer. So let's start with the wild berry. The wild berry is basically a refreshing summer ale and we've decided to pair this with pickles. Now, you wouldn't think that pickles go with beer, however, when you taste the two together, you get an amazing experience. So the best thing to do is first take a sip of the actual beer. You get that taste in your mouth, and then try a pickle. And you can just taste how those two flavors melt together in your mouth. Have a go. Yeah, it's actually a real beer, but it's brewed with berries, as opposed to, it's not a fizzy kind of fruit drink. It's an actual beer gone through the whole 6-week brewing process and comes up with a great result, I think.
Yeah.
Our next beer that we're going to look at is our Josie Blonde. Okay. This is probably your entry-level craft beer. So someone who's used to drinking your SAB beers and your non-craft beers, if they're going to come and try a craft beer, I would suggest this is the first one they go for. It's one of the first beers that Agars brewed, and it's been paired with a chili chocolate.
Chili chocolate?
Chili chocolate, yeah.
Okay.
So you have a taste first. But it's so early in the morning. And those two go really, really well together.
So what happens if I start with the chocolate and not the beer? Do I
No,
not get
you have
the same result?
have a taste the chocolate, have the beer, go back to the chocolate, go backwards and forwards. Have fun, that's what it's
Same
all about.
results. Okay. So, chocolate.
Does that get you going?
Interesting flavors. Let's move on.
What are your thoughts on that one?
That was very bitter.
Bitter. I think when you do pairing, sometimes it's about the flavors complementing each other, and other times it's about them contrasting each other. So sometimes it's a bitter and the sweet together, and other times it's the two sweets that go together. So it's an experience, and that's what it is. And when you get to the blue cheese, obviously you're going to have those flavors to deal with as well. The next beer we're looking at is a golden ale. Okay, This is one of my favorite beers. It's not heavy, but it's got a very strong citrus and hops taste to it. We'll get to the IPA near the end, which is like a 7% beer. So it's quite a strong one, and it's also got that hops flavor. This is a lighter version of the IPA, but it also has that citrus taste to it. Okay, so that is paired with the blue cheese. Okay, you can taste the hops and you can taste the citrus. And now when you pair it with the blue cheese, what do you get out of that?
I like this one.
Great.
I like this more than this.
That's it. That means you got an acquired taste.
Okay, so which one are we moving on to now?
We're going to move on to the American Pale Ale. This one also has got a strong hoppy flavor to it, but there's a bready malt background to the beer as well. And this one we've got paired with this cheese griller. And the idea is that the cheese griller, the fat, will cut through the citrus and hops taste in the beer itself. Okay, we'll give it a try.
Sure.
Also one of my favorite beers. Okay, and then together with the cheese griller, have a go.
And pale ales German?
Well, this is American Pale Ale. So you get a pale ale, you get an Indian pale ale, you get American pale ale. Not all American pale ales are made in America. Obviously, it's a name given to the type of beer. You feel how that cuts through the...
It's a very strong beer. Very strong.
Not that strong.
I think the hops and the citrus makes it very strong, but nope, not for me. Next.
Okay, the next one we're going to have is the Indian Pale Ale. Okay, so this one is it's a delicious beer. I'm saying this one is probably more one of your heavier beers, but the pairing here is with a butter chicken curry, which is one of the items on our menu in the restaurant. A lot of people love our butter chicken curry, and at the moment we've actually took it off because now we've got a tikka masala in its place, and we have a lot of people asking about it. But it will come back. But they make a great pairing again, and it's again a case of hops and the fattiness of the chicken and the curry versus the flavor in the IPA, the hops and the strength. So have that. See, taking a big gulp of the strawberry, and then taste that butter chicken curry with it. You like that one?
Very, very strong beer.
So we've been right round the circle now, tasted all the beers. As I said, we've got it. Our tray we use Journey's End wines as well, so we have it in wines. And that's a whole experience on its own too for the wine connoisseur. Journey's End is on Sir Lowry's Pass, just outside of Gordons Bay, on the other coast, up the north coast of Cape, on the Cape. And so we only stock their wines. We have 11 of their wines, and we've got 8 of them in the tray too. And they're also a whole separate pairing exercise.
So everything is proud to South Africa.
That's it.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Ivan.
It's a pleasure.
Nice.
Good.
And that's all we have here in this edition of Trendz Travel. As usual, I was your host, Eloise Scoville, and I'd like to remind you to celebrate your womanhood every single day. See you again next week.